Hi, everybody. Dr. Zach here, and I wanted to take a quick moment today and just let you experience a little bit about the way that my brain works. I've been talking for the past several months about making sure that we take time to actually think about what we're thinking about. We've been programmed, conditioned as a society about what to think and not so much how to think. Today, as I was processing through some things that I'd seen in the news, it just brought up to my attention that I probably look at things from a different perspective than most people do when they look at or hear, read different things. And I think part of it's been shaped by my 30 years in practicing healthcare and seeing that there's a whole lot of PR activity that goes on through the media. The media is actually a great PR outlet, especially for medical interventions. If you just watch TV in the evening, you're going to see that about 1/3 of all of the television commercials are from drug companies. What that does is it gives them the leverage to actually then impact the news that's going to be shared as well. So, I don't pay much attention to mainstream media just for that reason. So I kind of catch my information from a lot of different sites. And over the past several months, I've been seeing an awful lot of information about just how horrible the COVID-19 testing outcomes are, about how they're not accurate at all. The PCR, which is what they consider their best test, is up to 97% false positive rate. So that means that if you take 100 people that tested positive, in reality, only 3 of those could be positive, and they all show up as positive results. To me, that doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence that whether my test came back positive or negative, that I actually know anything more than I did going into it. So anyway, I've talked about this. I've been sharing some things about this. I've talked about how even in Portugal, their courts have said that test is bogus. It doesn't even work. We can't use that anymore because it's completely inaccurate. I talked about how Kary Mullis, who's the inventor of that test, and it's not even a test, it's actually just a chemical procedure. He actually won a Nobel Prize for it back in the 90s. He said it's not diagnostic for anything. You can't use it as a diagnostic test for anything. You actually use it just to replicate genetic material. And he was adamant against using it for testing. Unfortunately, he died late 2019, so he's not around to argue that anymore. So anyway, I've been saying, hey, these tests are kind of crazy. Maybe we shouldn't be putting as much attention into it. But the mainstream media hasn't been saying anything. What they have been saying is, holy cow, more tests, more tests. Now we've got lots and lots and lots of positive people. So we've been paying a ton of attention to positive cases because of all the testing that we've done. But guess what? If we get a bunch of false positives, we're going to have a bunch of false positive cases. But the case number is high, so that keeps us in this state of panic, and we still think that we're in this pandemic, even though our death rate is lower than it's been in the last several years. So with that said, all of a sudden yesterday on an NBC website, I saw that there was actually an article that came out that said, hey, these tests are actually giving us a lot of false positives. They're not really very accurate, and in some places they've halted testing because they're so inaccurate, so many false positives. And so I thought, well, isn't that interesting that all of a sudden it's been how many cases do we have, more testing, more cases, to, ooh, the tests aren't so good, let's halt them. Less tests. What could have transpired in the last few days to create a shift in what they do? Well, here's where my brain goes. My brain goes, well, hey, a few days ago we got this vaccine. The vaccine comes out, we've been testing like crazy, so we have all these cases of COVID. All of a sudden now we're going to stop testing because that test isn't very accurate, but we have this vaccine. We stop testing, what happens to the number of cases? They're going to go down because we're not testing. And so what the media is going to spin this into, my guess, and just follow the media over the course of the next several days or weeks and see if this plays out to be true. Cases drop, vaccine introduced just coincidentally at the same time, and all of a sudden we've got a Christmas miracle. We've got dun dun dun, mankind, humanity saved by the vaccine once again. And the reason that I'm fairly confident this is how it's going to play out is because we saw this happen with people dying from measles when the vaccine came out and where things went. Polio, every kind of vaccine that's ever been introduced, it happens to come at a point to where we're in this massive decline, but they only show us the last part of that picture. So anyway, that's something for you to think about and just kind of watch over the course of the next few weeks to see if it does play out that way. See if that it does get spun to the points to where we see this massive drop in number of cases we kind of forgot that one little article from NBC that said the tests aren't working, so we're going to halt them, but we're going to pay attention to vaccine, and then we're going to see this huge decline that takes place. Pay attention. Let me know what you think about it. Anyway, that's just kind of a taste into the way that my brain works. Hopefully that'll inspire you to start doing some thinking on your own, assess and look at situations around you. Until next time, this is Dr. Zach. God bless you guys, and make today a great day.